Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Python interview questions. That is, what is the difference between a local variable and global variable in Python? Let me answer. A variable that is created inside the functions is a local variable, and a variable that is created outside functions is global variable. Okay, the scope of the local variable is up to that function in which it is created, whereas the scope of a global variable is throughout the code. Okay, since it is created outside the function, you can access this variable anywhere in that code. Okay, so that is a major difference between a local variable and a global variable in Python programming. Fine, I'll explain more about these local and global variables. But before that, let me practically demonstrate whatever I have explained so far regarding this local and global variables in Python. For that, I'll switch to this PyCharm IDE, and here, okay, I'll create the local variable and global variable for you. For that, first I'll create a function, guys. I'll say sample underscore one. This is one of the function, colon. So inside this function, if I am creating a variable, if I say a is equal to 10, and say print of a, okay, and I need to call this function, right? I need to call this function sample underscore one. I have to call this function. When I call this function, okay, the function will be called, the variable is getting created, and this variable is a local variable. Why we call this variable as a local variable? Because this variable is created inside the function. Okay, so you can access this variable. Okay, the scope of this particular variable is up to that function only. Within the function, you can access, for example, this print statement also belongs to this function. You can access this variable inside the function. But can I access this function outside the function? For example, if I say print of a, you see, you will get an error. You see, already error is coming. Unresolved reference a is coming. The reason behind that is the scope of this particular variable which is created inside the function is up to that particular function only. Within the function you can access, but outside the function you cannot access. Run this code, it will work. It will print 10 in the output. Okay, because I'm calling this function and the variable is created and some values assigned to the variable, and we are printing that variable. We are accessing the variable within the function, so no problem. So what if I create a variable outside the function? Okay, for example, if I give b is equal to some 5 here, this is a global variable, guys. Okay, it's a global variable. Why it's a global variable? This particular variable is not created inside a function like this. Okay, instead this variable is created outside the functions. So this variable can be accessed anywhere inside this code. Anywhere in this code you can access, guys. In this Python file, anywhere you want to access this variable b, you can access. You can access this variable b inside a function. You see, no issues, no errors. You can access this variable within a function, and also you can access this variable outside the function also. You see, here also you can access. Okay, the scope of this variable b, which is a global variable, is throughout this code, anywhere. Okay, now first it will print the global variable value, that is 5, then it will call the function, and first it will print 10, then 5. 5, 10, 5 will be printed. You see, 5, 10, 5 got printed. It's working fine. So hope you got an understanding of what is the local variable and what is a global variable and their scope, okay, how they are different in scope. Okay, so now let's go with some tricky things. Okay, whatever the question asks, we have already answered, guys, but uh, the interviewer may dig deep, like they may ask you some more questions. Okay, since you already have the knowledge of this difference between local and global variable, they may ask you a few more things. Okay, so these things, if you know, you will be able to answer those. Okay, that is, as an additional stuff, you can learn this, guys. I know, and answer in a better way. The local variable is having the same name as a global variable. For example, in this case, the local variable is a, whereas global variable is b. They have a different name. What if both the local variable and global variables have the same name? What will happen? What will happen now? What if the local variable is b only? The global variable is also having the same name. In this case, if I call this function, guys, what will be, if I call this function here and run this code, what will happen? Here b is equal to 10, but globally it's 5. Locally it's 10. Now if I say print b, 5 will be printed or 10 will be printed? 10 will be printed, guys, because already it is a global variable, but when you call this function, okay, so locally it's changing. So this is not referring anymore to the global variable. If there is a same local variable for a global variable, inside this function, local variable will be considered, guys. Okay, that's one thing. So for 10 will be printed. Okay, 10 will be printed because local variable will be considered. Fine. Now That is one thing, guys. Okay. So now there is one keyword known as global keyword in Python, guys. Okay. In Python, there is a keyword known as global keyword. This is a local variable. Okay. Now you see just now after calling the function, if I say print of b, right, what will be printed? Do you think here? Okay. Sample one will be calling this one first. Local variable for 10 will be printed. That's okay. After this is done, if I say print of b, what will be there? 5 or 10 will be printed. Here already 10 got printed. What about print of b? It will print 5 or 10. You see, the scope of this local variable is up to this function only. Outside the function, this local variable will vanish. That means global variable only will stay. So here 5 will be printed, guys. Okay. So even though they have the same name, the scope of this local variable, which is having the same name as the global variable, is up to the function only. So 10 value will be there till the function. But this b is equal to 5 will be there throughout the code. So 5 will be printed, guys. You see, the 5 got printed. This is very important to understand. So now, what if there's one more statement, that is global keyword. Within the function, from the function, I want to update the value of this b. Okay, I want to update this value of b. Then what I have to do? So here, I have to say global b. Okay, this is no more a local variable. The moment I declare this or specify this variable with global keyword inside a function, this b is going to become a global variable. Now, if I say b is equal to 10, it's no more a local variable because this b is declared with the global keyword. That means even though this particular variable is created inside a function, but you have specified or declared this variable with the global keyword, that means this b is a global variable, only the same global variable. Now you are updating the value or modifying the value of the b here from 5 to 10. So here also global variable, the same global variable you're updating here. So here sample one will be, okay, printing 10, and here print b also, the value 5 got updated with 10 anyhow, right? So 10 10 will be printed now. You see 10 10 got printed. If you understand this, okay, you would have understood everything about local variables and global variables in Python. Okay, in Python we can create the global variables inside the function using the global keyword, guys. Okay, if you don't have this you know, okay, that's also fine. Okay, if you don't have that, that's also fine. It's a global variable, case. Okay, you can access it anywhere. Okay, inside the code you can access it anywhere. Only thing is that you need to call this function to create this global variable or run this. You see, I can create the global variable inside the function also. Global keyword is not used here not only for updating the value of a global variable, but also I've created this global variable in another example. This is another example where I created the global variable inside the function. I don't have to create the global variables outside the function, guys. If I use the global keyword, I can create the global variables inside the function. That's what is important. Here I created the global variable inside the function. I'm able to access it outside the functions. Okay. So with this, hope guys you understood all the things about local and global variables. Mainly you have to answer these two lines. That's very important. On the top of this, if the interviewer expects more, okay, for you to answer, then you can mention all this stuff. So hope guys you got the answer for this question. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another Python interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye-bye.